Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the two digital interactive publications, Big Blend Radio and TV Magazine, which is our variety magazine, and also Parks and Travel Magazine that obviously covers parks and travel, but also our Love Your Parks tour, where Nancy and I are traveling the country full-time on a quest to visit all of America's parks and public lands, document them, map them, and also share the stories of the communities. And a lot of people have sent us on assignments. It can be public art, it could be music, stories of youth success. We've got all kinds of stories that people have sent us on these assignments, like go get them. And now we've gone into not only sharing the stories, but actually documenting them in these interactive maps. And that brings us back to who is coming on our show today. We have Christy-Wood back on. Christy's been on our show over, I think about 4 or 5 times. I can't keep count. We met Christy-Wood in Three Rivers, California, right outside Sequoia National Park at the very beginning of our tour. I think it was 2012, 2013 that we met her. And Christy is a world champion horse trainer and judge, and she has trail rides out in the foothills of the Sequoias. She owns wooden horse training stables and trail rides. Again, Three Rivers, it's a beautiful art community, and really they have 3 rivers there. And it's an amazing experience. We got to meet with her, go on a trail ride, and she has sent us on a mission to document horses across America. So we're excited to chat about that today, and also to catch up with her, talk a little bit about what's going on over at Wooden Horse. She has all kinds of events, talk about trail rides, all kinds of things, and also her amazing career, because she's also an author and, like I was saying, a world champion trainer and judge. So everyone, I encourage you to go to her website. It's wdnhorse.com. And welcome back, Christy. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me back. It's great to be able to speak with you, Nancy and Lisa.
Hey, I know, it's like, and here's the thing, even better than this conversation, we get to see you again in 2020, April 2020. We're going to be back at the end of April in California, Sequoia country, and we're going to try and extend our time there as long as possible, but we've got to, no matter what happens, come and see you, because that's it.
Yes, you do. Hopefully we'll get you in the saddle again as well. Yay.
Oh. I know, we love that. You know, Nancy always talk about this on the tour. You know, we've done a few horse things, you know, through our years and travels here in the States and in South Africa. As you know, we used to have our own horses, and you know, that was the la-di-da British style when you trot up and down. And then I know now we get Western style here, which is a whole different, like I dig that because it just kind of has a better feel. I don't know, kind of feel more in rhythm with the horse. But going on the trail ride with you, like we've talked about on shows before with you, is really an incredibly positive experience in that you connect the rider with the horse, make sure everyone's safe, comfortable. You really put safety at the top for everybody, for the horse and for the person. And it was like, you know, we had to get back in the saddle again, and we hadn't ridden for years. I didn't even know, like, how am I going to get up there, man?
I know, it's like, can we do it?
But we did it. It was magical. And
yeah,
it was just, you really take such good care of your horses. So I think that's very important when people go out on vacation, when they go on a trail ride, that they have someone like you as their trail ride leader. Right.
Well, my horses are my family. They're also my kids. I don't have any 2-legged kids. All mine are 4-legged, and I take very good care of them. And there's an amazing partnership that you can have with a horse. And not everybody always understands that. A lot of people look at them like they're just a vehicle, and they don't understand that they're a living, breathing animal that can make choices and serve us well because they want to, and because it's a pleasant experience. And so if everybody has a good time, the horse included, then the people will as well.
You know, it's true, because what we found, and we've ridden in different places and different countries and having our own horses, your horses aren't bored. And I wanted to ask you that, you know, before when we were there, because we've been on rides where you can tell the horses are so bored. They really don't care what's going on. They don't care what's happening. and any chance they have to just put their head down, go to sleep, or eat grass, they will. But they don't even do it fast.
Well,
you
that's
know,
normal.
they don't.
Yeah, that's normal. But
Yeah, they
I know.
just, you know, but they don't do it fast. They're like, oh God. So yours aren't bored, and so how do you keep them from being bored?
Well, that's because they do so many things, and honestly, you have to also let horses be horses, which means, and I have many aspects of my horse life, which is, like Nancy had mentioned in my introduction, is that I am a serious competitor. I show horses as well, but my show horses are also trail horses. So horses need to be in the elements, out in the open, enjoying Mother Earth just like we do. And yet we also ask them to compete, and many, many horses enjoy competing. They love to have something to do. They love tasks. They love pleasing their rider, and it's just amazing the athletic ability that they have. And hopefully the riders do as well, just keep up with them. But my horses are well-rounded. So they're not just in the barn. They're just, you know, they don't sit idle. They're always doing something. I do many lessons here. We do trail rides. I'm a serious trail rider, as you know, because I've mentioned in our former podcast about the Chief Joseph trail ride that I ride on. And then the horses also compete in horse shows. And then they're so broke and enjoy doing everything that's what makes them such good mounts for out-of-towners that come to visit the Sequoias.
Oh, I love this, because that means that the big blend concept applies to horses too, not just people. Because we talk about, you know, we realize that, you know, that when we started our magazine way back when, over 23 years ago in San Diego, we were called the Blend Magazine, and people are like, do you really need another magazine? We're like, yeah, because you're not covering half of the things that should be, you know, like travel and stuff like that. And, you know, now look at us, now it's like national and international, but it was because it was like, hey, you know, someone who's reading about gardening is probably interested in nature. If someone's interested in nature, they're probably got some kind of interest in history, you know, so it keeps going, like, you know, and why box ourselves up to only this? And so the concept, and we're still here, you know, that's what I would say. The concept is winning. But I think, you know, now we've got to the point, it's like Viva Variety, that is the spice that brings quality to life. And
well, of course it is. It's, I mean, you may just like country western music, but once in a while you need to hear some classical, some rock, just so that you know there's something different out there in your world. You know, why put blinders on? You know, this world offers so much. You know, we need to see everything and taste it and experience it, and then you can go back to your favorites if you want. But that's what makes well-rounded people as well, and definitely in the animal world. You know, if animals are sheltered all the time, and then something in their world comes along, they're going to be frightened. They're not going to understand it. So my philosophy is exposing my horses to a multiplicity of things that actually might be frightening to any other horse that hasn't been exposed to that. It's almost like police training. We have many, many obstacles here. We have different arenas that we train our horses with. You know, actually, if you've seen my property actually has the main road that goes down the center of it. I've got two arenas that are on the road. You've got big trucks that go by. I've got neighbors that honk. And I've had people say, oh, aren't you afraid if your neighbors honk the horn when they're going by? I said, heavens no. I want my horse to hear all that honking. I want them comfortable with all that honking. So it's just, you know, you're just well-rounded horses and well-rounded people. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to touch on the Chief Joseph Trail Ride. This is such a special event. It's a progressive trail ride. 13-year progressive trail ride, and it traces the you know, the steps of Chief Joseph and the Nez Perce, you know, fleeing the U.S. cavalry. And I know we've made a video. We've got all these things. We've done these conversations.
Oh, yes, the video is wonderful. Yeah.
You know, all of that, you know, it's just like, wow, you know, these conversations over the years. And anyone doing the trail ride has to be on an Appaloosa. So I want to talk about the Appaloosa because, you know, we're doing the Horses Across America. And I want to talk about the American connection with the Appaloosa. But you taking your horses, and I know you've now swapped mounts, right? You know, because now it's progressing in years. And you're on it for the second time.
Yes, I completed the 1,300 miles, which takes us 13 years. We do 100 miles every year, and I completed that in 3 years ago with the same horse. My horse's name is Dollar. That's her stable name.
Beautiful,
and we completed that 1,300 miles together and finished that. And now she's in her 20s, and so she is semi-retired from that ride. It's a very difficult ride. And she was just amazing and handled everything that was thrown at us and all the challenges. And now I've gone back and started the ride over again 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm riding her half brother, and his name is Buckley. And he's following in her hoof prints. He's doing a great job handling all of the activity and the challenges of this ride. And he's just an amazing horse. Plus, I'm also showing him. So here we go again with the well-rounded horse. I am competing with him, and he's doing very, very well. Won some major championships last year for his first year out, and he's still going to be on that Chief Joseph Trail ride.
I'm stealing that from now on. Anybody asks about the blend, I'm just saying we're well-rounded. Look at, I'll just show you my butt.
Yes. If anybody asks about you, I'll just say you're following in my hoof print.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's right.
The spirit of the horse, because horses to me symbolize freedom. But when you go on these trail rides, going on that, being well-rounded, and do you sense from the horse that, like, you're looking at this magnificent scenery from what I've seen on the images, and we're still going to try and make this at some point in our lifestyle.
I hope so.
We'll meet you somewhere.
I hope so.
That scenery and some of the parts of the trail is just, and it's funny, we just did an interview on Hell's Canyon National Recreation Area, and I realized
yes. Yeah, in Idaho. Yes.
Yeah, you went through there. And I'm like, holy
yes, we
cow.
did.
They went to Hell's Canyon.
That's why they call it Hell's Canyon.
I know.
Really something.
I was like, oh my God, they went through there. But do the horses react to the scenery? I know there's the survivalist mode that happens with a horse, the safety, they're trained with that part, but there's that survivalist and knowing what they're doing. But do you see them looking out, like, in a sense of wonder of where they are and, like, actually taking it in and enjoying the view like you do?
I have to be real honest with you, and that's the way that I am, is in order to even approach a ride like this and have your horse seeing Hell's Canyon or anything else that's magnificent and majestic in our world out there, you need to have preparation for that. You really just can't all of a sudden take your horse that you've been showing and say, I want to go do this trail ride, and try to put your horse in that situation of having 4,500-foot drops or bogs that go up to their belly and up to their necks, and treacherous things that happen on this ride without preparation. So you really need to have a good mount that has a good mind, that is well-rounded, really prior to going on this ride. Then you can attempt something like this. And that's what's going to make it enjoyable for you and safe for you and your horse. And then the horse can enjoy it. We don't want the horse going out and seeing that 4,500-foot drop and being frightened of that. He needs to be prepared for that. And so does the rider as well. But they do take in their surroundings. And I'm sure that they're sizing it up and they're looking at it, and they have, a sense of self-preservation. And, they can handle things. These are animals that are designed to go over mountains and over rocks and through streams and through things like this. But now they have to do it, and not just in the natural sense, but they have to do it with a rider on their back. So the more educated and the more comfortable that rider is, that's where the team effort comes in and the partnership comes in, is to be able to handle those two things together.
And you don't speak the same language, but you find your own language.
We learn each other's language, Lisa. That's the bottom line to that as well, is yes, they have body language, they have ways of communicating with each other, and they use that to communicate with us. And if we are smart enough human beings, we'll take the time to learn that. Once we learn their language, then we can offer our language in association with what they're telling us, that we can tell them, they can absorb it. And that, again, is where the partnership comes in.
I think they're really, really intelligent animals, and it really makes me mad when I hear people say that the horses and dogs are dumb, but cats are smart. And I really think
well, cats are smart.
Cats are badass. Sorry.
If anybody wants to look in the encyclopedia, you're going to see, and I did this a long time ago when I was a kid. I looked in the encyclopedia on horses, and they showed the top 10 intelligent animals. And really, the pig was, I think, on the top of the list, the pig and the dog, and then the cat. The horse was number 10. So the horse has some intelligence, but they're not as intelligent as a dog or a cat.
I wonder if they
have such heart. Yeah. They have such heart for learning. And it's you just have to be able to be patient enough to, learn their language, they learn ours, and then this partnership just develops, and it's beautiful. So it takes really patience with an animal like that might be not as easy to train or as smart or as quick to learn as a dog. Now, we can train dogs. All of us know that. We definitely can't train cats. So cats are the ones that are a little bit smarter because they have their own agenda.
They just flip their tail.
They just look at you like, you want me to what? And the dogs are like, can I help you? Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And the cats are like, are you kidding me? What do you think I am?
Yeah.
And then the
like people call your people. Yeah.
And the horses are in the middle. Okay, that could be fun, so I might want to do it. But I don't think, I don't know how they decide, intelligence in the animal, I don't know how they
tests. The scientists have done lots of tests. They know they can train horses to pick colors and numbers and things like that. Part of that is repetition. And train any animal, it's repetition. But you need to do it with kindness and patience. That's really the bottom line. And I wish more people would do that with people. I wish more humans would do that with other humans. But, I'm
with you on that. Christy,
I'd like to sign some people up for training.
Well, this is something that I've seen how horses have helped inmates in prisons, and there's that whole program, and horses working with disabled children, autistic children,
right?
Really healing. So there's this healing power of horses. Have you had people come in that are scared? Because I know that this year on the tour, everyone, we're recording this at the very end of 2019, and you're hearing it in 2020. But this year, I was thinking about all of the experiences we've had with horses, and there's times when we were staying at a friend's place in Colorado, there were horses in the back of her property, and they'd come up
that was
with parrots.
So cool.
And but they would rush you, and so like you needed to back off, but they really wanted the carrot. And then I'm like, trying to remember, hold your hand, your palm flat and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's that little bit of fear that goes through you because you haven't been around a horse, because when you're around horses a lot, you get to understand their body. You're in sync. You can tell, and you can get kicked, and it not for a reason. If you're in the way, there's stuff. So there's that fear that comes in your backbone, like, be careful, and that, step back if you are uncomfortable. So I know animals sense when you're uncomfortable or uncertain or fearful. And I know that, people for the first time can really love a horse, but also be scared. Do you handle that with your classes or people coming in for trail rides? What happens in that circumstance?
Well, matter of fact, we had a lady yesterday that came. She was from Georgia, had never been on a horse before, and it's something that they wanted to do, is go out for a trail ride. I kind of admire people that have never done something like that and want to do it the first time without really taking instruction first, just thinking they can jump on a horse and go. But our policy, of course, is to give instruction first, because it's, again, protection for them, protection for our horses, and the more knowledge you have, the safer you're going to be, and then the more fun you're going to have. But she was frightened in the beginning, just saying, I think maybe I should just stay in the arena and not go outside. And I said, well, let's work on the exercises that we do in this arena to show you how you can guide this horse and how you actually can become the team captain. It's one thing to have a partnership. I always have my partnership with my horses, but there's always got to be a leader in that partnership. There needs to be a team captain, and that's what we need to do, is show people how to guide these horses. And actually, a horse loves having somebody on their back that knows what they're doing. And they have a certain level of training, and if you can get up to that level and slightly above it, hopefully a little more above it, but if you can get above it, they are going to respect you and give you the best ride of your life. And so she ended up without 10 minutes in the arena. She was comfortable, and she enjoyed her trail ride with me. She had a great time.
Wow. That is that part of, I love that you put people in the arena first. It's like you kind of feel comfortable because, like you say, there's that road, and then you're like, okay, I can handle this now. Everybody calms their blood pressure down, the beating heart. Everybody just calms down. The horse is, familiar in that arena. So I love that part. I do want to go back to the Appaloosa part, because with what we're doing on the tour, Nancy and I thinking back, how many places have we been where there's trails? A lot of our public lands have trail ride destinations where people come in with, there's like group. Saguaro National Park, where we was outside our doorstep when we lived in Tucson before we took on the road. There's this one area that is a horse parking area. There's a picnic site, and it's where the horse, this is designated for the, people with their trailers and everything. It's like a group site for the horses, and they have places where you can rope your horse and, tie him up. No, that sounds bad. tie them up to a pole.
Tether. There's places to tether your horse
There
or
you
you to
go.
corral.
Hit them up.
Don't
There you
tie
go.
up your horse. That sounds really bad. 50 shades of tying
I
up
knew what you meant.
but but anyway, so that was their designated area, and granted it was small, but it was even on a road, because it goes through pictured rocks, there's this little seclusion thing, and you can go if you're not a horse person, but it was really cool because they have little shaded areas, and I'm like, okay, there's all of these spots, and now with you sending us on this horse assignment, my mind is like, oh my gosh, there's all these statues. I would say just about every public art place has statues or murals, a lot of statues, bronze statues or sculptures of horses, showing what horses have carried people throughout history, through war, through migration routes. I mean, it's pretty
That's right.
incredible. So, I mean, it's the horses are really part of our makeup, but then I'm thinking horses across America. And when you do the Appaloosa Trail Ride on the Chief Joseph Trail Ride, it's through the Appaloosa Club Association, and you have to be on an Appaloosa, and that's because of Chief Joseph. That was their horse. But so when you think about horses across America, is the Appaloosa, would that be one of the first horses that come to mind when you think of American horse?
Oh well, there's many American breeds. The Appaloosa was primarily for the Nez Perce tribe, is the tribe that developed the Appaloosa horse. But then there was other tribes on the plains that had paints and pintos, and there were different colored horses and different breeds and types of horses that many of the different Native American tribes adopted or captured and learned to ride and train. So it's not just exclusive to the Appaloosa. That's just one region of Washington and Oregon where the Appaloosa horse. Remember, Lewis and Clark first spotted them in 1805 when the Nez Perce actually brought them in and fed them and gave them food when they were pretty much out of supplies. And the Nez Perce took them in and were friendly and took care of them. And that's when Lewis and Clark wrote in their journals that they saw these beautiful spotted horses that the Nez Perce had. And that was in the Palouse region of Washington, and that's how that name got started. They said when Lewis and Clark wrote it, they said they referred to them as a Palouse horse. There are those Palouse horses because of that region and that river, and then the name eventually evolved into being Appaloosa.
Wow. Wow, who knew? And the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail, that's a trail that we follow on the park, on our Love Your Park store. Yes. That's one of the main, and it collides in with the Ice Age Trail, which is crazy, when all the ice shifted down way back when. So that's kind of cool. One of our story assignments, the Yarrington Inn in Yarrington, Nevada. Yarrington Inn is off of the Pony Express Trail and the California National Historic Trail, and also the Overland Trail. And so they've sent us on this. So this 2020, this year, we're really right here. So I'm just going to say this year for 2020, we're following as much of the Pony Express Trail as we can. We're going to try and do it across, but you know how travel goes. But we're going to be doing that. And I was thinking about this, Nancy. You'd written the story about Pony Bob Haslam, who made the fastest trail ride, the Pony Express ride. He delivered the Gettysburg Address through the Pony Express for Lincoln. He's talk. I mean, he's good. He is an incredible was an incredible man who, all these things happened. He did the fastest one, and also one of the most dangerous rides, and and everybody else chickened out, and they're like, we're not doing it. And he's like, I'm doing it. So I'm wondering, I'm going to have to now because now the Pony Express. I wondered if they were really ponies. I'm going to have to go look up horse history on if they used a specific breed. I wondered.
I don't know if they did, and I think it was a general term in those days, just that you would ride your pony. That was just something that I think was a general term, but I haven't researched that to know for sure. I doubt they were ponies. I don't think they were that small. They probably wouldn't have traveled as quickly if they had been a smaller statured horse to cover the ground that they did. And
they called them Mustang.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of breeds of Mustang as well. So it just depends on what they use. I mean, the thoroughbreds are also very lean and quick. So they might have used some Eastern bred thoroughbred type horses, at least to start out from the East Coast. Maybe, and of course they didn't ride the same horse. They went through the Pony Express stage stops basically is where they picked up the mail and then kept on going. So they got fresher horses each time. So who knows exactly what type of horse they were riding each time, or maybe a horse that was more indigenous to that area. Who knows? That's something we need to research, huh?
Yeah, I think you're going to be being called on the Pony Express trail. We're going to be calling Christy. Take a look at this horse. What do you think it is? Well, there's horses.
I'd be more than happy to evaluate it for you. It's one of the things I do. Is my other job is being a horse show judge. That's what I do the other part of my living is evaluating horses.
So that's okay. So that's interesting because you work with 7 breed associations. So I know you travel the world. So this isn't just America. You travel, and so you go out and you judge. Do you so when there's there's show jumping and things like that, you'll go and judge the show jumping and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So if you're a carded judge with, let's say, a particular association, and we'll use the Appaloosa Association as one of them. When you go to judge an Appaloosa show, actually the Appaloosa horse, and most of the horses that I judge too, like Paints and Pintos and the different breeds, even mules, are very versatile animals, and people that own these animals love to ride them in a multiplicity of events. So you can actually go to an Appaloosa show one weekend and you're going to see Western competitors doing obstacles, doing reining. Then you will have a day that's just all English where they're jumped. They're even driven in carts. There's just a lot of different events. And so as a judge, you actually have to know all those events within that breed for that weekend in order to judge them correctly.
So what happens, I know that you work with in English and Western riding.
Yes.
Do you ever get someone from England that comes on and says, I'm going to do a trail riding. It's like, trot on, because I remember that up, down, and you must trot. And then
that's called, okay, so let me educate you a little bit. When you mentioned that earlier in our starting of our program, you mentioned about the up and down. That's called posting. Okay. That's what English riders do because they're riding at more of an extended trot, and that's really the best and comfortable way to ride an extended trot. You're going to be covering some ground. Let's say you're going to go ride to the hounds, by the way, which I do. I have joined the hunt club this year. And when your horse is trotting out like that, that's really the only way that you're going to ride an extended trot and cover some ground is by posting. You can post in a Western saddle. No one says you can't. I mean, if your horse is in an extended trot, you might want to because it might be more comfortable for you. But the Western style of riding is to sit a slower and more collected trot, where you can post a more extended trot.
What's the tripling part?
You can't put your arm up like a cowboy. They won't let you if you're trotting. We know because we had
Nancy.
No, but we took our horses in in South Africa, and we entered a competition, which was really hysterical because we did. And we trained for it, and the judge, her name was Sheena, and I mean, I didn't know all the rules of competition, but I knew that my horse could jump, and he would jump.
He was cart horse, Flemish cart horse.
He was crazy, and he could jump anything. I mean, he jumped the whole canal once. I was like, I'm in trouble with this horse.
And he should have been in the Olympics.
Yeah, he was good, and he was 26 years old when I got him.
Oh, what heart. That's wonderful.
He was a cart horse. He's like a half Clydesdale and half thoroughbred, and he was jet black and was beautiful. But he was like the boss. I had no control, I have to admit. And when I entered him in this competition, I talked to him because that's how I rode him, is I talked to him. And so I'd really appreciate it if you'd turn right. And so during the competition, the judge was like, "You're not allowed to talk."
Oh, that was dressage. The dressage.
Yeah. And then when we had this jump to do for balance, I put my right hand up, and she was all like, "You're not a cowboy."
You're like, I'm American. I can do what I want. That's how Nancy went around Africa. I'm American. I can do what I want. That didn't always serve.
Oh dear.
It was hysterical. It was so much fun.
Here's a little bit of common sense and advice that really should, if people are interested. Seriously, are interested in competing, it's good to get a rule book for the association that is sponsorship or putting on the horse show. So that the judge won't have to yell at you and saying, put your hand down, and you're not allowed to talk to your horse. I mean, there are some rules, and we all follow those rules as a judge. I need to follow that rule book as well.
Yeah.
And there is protocol, and actually the protocol is showing respect for the association, for the breed, and for the judge, and all that sorts of things. I'm sure you had a lot of fun, but at least she was educating you a little bit, saying you really can't do this. You really can't do this.
No, she afterwards said, "Don't do it again till you read."
Yeah,
It's exactly. Well, you know what was interesting, Surtees, Nancy's horse, it was Flemish cart horse. That's what he was.
Yeah,
Thoroughbred Flemish cart horse.
Hmm.
And beautiful, just beautiful, shiny black, just, those big hair around his hooves, just big, he's a big boy.
Awesome.
And we had the paddock all set up with the horse jumps and everything for, training. He would go jump them for fun, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh my gosh. I would love to ride a horse like that.
He was
and he
magic.
jumped backwards.
Well, I think he helped my horse, which was, I think she was a beautiful dun cinnabar, cross pony, cross, I don't know, Arab, I think she was. And she was an abused animal. Policeman had her before, beat her up in the polo stick. And anyway, really horrible story. But so, we didn't know what we were doing. And, Christy, you weren't there. If we'd known you, it would have been awesome. But Nancy, she was scared of anything yellow and scared of the jumps and everything. But we would take her up to the jump, let her sniff it out. And even the field, whenever, because of being on a polo field and being used in polo and being abused with a polo stick out there, she was free. But we got her, and Surtees had this calming effect on her, I think.
Oh, he did.
Get out there, and I would ride her, and we just used carrots and love and talked, and eventually she did it. I rode her through a jump course in a show, and she made it. And that was all what it was about. It was just to do that. I rode her through dressage and dressed as a gypsy for a fancy dress thing, and she made it through the fancy dress.
That's fun.
Yeah, but that was the biggest thing. And I think there's that communication that you're talking about, is having that communication with the horse. And I think that's what's interesting on the side of people doing trail rides that have never done it before. They, no matter what, you learn something about yourself. You put yourself outside your box. Now you have to trust your inner self, but you have learned another form of communication and observancy from doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that part of it. I wanted
Yeah,
to
a lot of the people thank me for that, by the way. They thank me for the education that they receive, because sometimes they go ride on the beach in Cabo San Lucas somewhere, and they just get thrown on a horse, and all of a sudden the horses are running and they're hanging off the horse. It's scary.
And the horses do not look good out there. We used to live in Mexico, and some of the and I'm sure there's wonderful places in Mexico, but some of the stuff we've seen where it wasn't too positive. So I'm just saying what we've witnessed. And that's something to be aware of as a traveler, is take a look. Do the horses look starving, right? Are there any pointers you can give for people traveling to do trail rides on that? Like what you should...
okay. So if you go to somebody's website and you want to see what they offer, especially on my website, even if you just want a trail ride, if you want lessons, I have a resume there. So anybody can hang out a shingle and say they're a horse trainer. I think you need to ask for a resume. You need to ask for what they've done. If you say you want to claim that you're a horse trainer.
Your resume's long, girl. Your resume's like, dude, I'm like,
3 pages long.
Jeez.
Right, but that's what you should look for. You need somebody with some experience, somebody that's been down the road many times and has been experienced in many different aspects. So it's good to look and see if what the background is. I guess there's some ratings. Sometimes you have to be careful with some of the ratings that people give on some of these other websites that rate you, because they can misjudge and not understand a lot of things. But if you have common sense, gosh, I hope everybody has some common sense. And the little red flag inside you should say, this doesn't look right. I see some sharp obliques nearby, and maybe this horse is a little skinny, and the horses are crabby, and they're kicking at me. And you know what? My little red flag is waving inside me. I'm going to say, I think I'll just try this another day. Thank you. It's just not for me today. And be polite and thank them for the time and walk away. But if you search some websites, hopefully there'll be enough pictures and reviews or resumes that you can see that you'll know it's an experienced, stable, experienced facility, and you'll be in good hands.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is you're the author of 2 books. You've got Your Best Horse Show, a guide for managers and exhibitors. So the exhibitors, is that the riders? Tell
Yes.
Okay. I'm exhibiting now.
Yeah, those are the people that are coming to the horse show to show off their horses and exhibit their horses. And yes, so I put some tips in there for exhibitors as well.
Okay. And then the children's book, Ranger, the little horse with a big heart.
Yeah, let's not just put a label on it as a children's book. It is actually a book for all ages.
Okay.
So I've had adult men read that book and thank me because they said, oh my gosh, now I know how a horse thinks. It's a very enjoyable story. It is for all ages. Yes.
Cool.
And
I like
everyone,
that.
you can get the books obviously on Amazon and all that, but I always go to the author's website, get it personally.
Yes.
Yep. And let's keep America like the the entrepreneurial spirit flowing. Go to WDNHorse.com and you can get Christy's books there, learn more about the trail rides and also her services as in what she does in regards to being a judge and also a trainer. But also you have some cool gifts on there, which I didn't know. Like you have, salt and pepper shaker holders, wine holders. Excuse me.
Yeah. So here we are. Here we are in a situation at a stable where we have anywhere from 10 to 15 horses here, and every 6 weeks they get new shoes. So my job, whether I like it or not, but I really love it, is going out and riding those horses hard and wearing those shoes out. So when those shoes are then taken off the horses, my husband's come up with a great idea, and he's a good welder, that he's taken those horseshoes and has created some beautiful wine holders, salt and pepper shakers, boot pullers, hat racks, guitar holders, toilet paper holders, paper towel holders. I mean, he's done everything with those horseshoes. So we have a partnership. I wear out the horseshoes, he takes them and makes art out of them.
And they're good luck.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They are good luck. So everybody should get some.
What's the one thing you have for show jumping where it's kind of looks like a little blanket that goes over the poles of a jump?
Okay, well that's called the jumping trail, and of course my business is called Wooden Horse. So there's an N in the middle of that because what it is, it's actually a heavy-duty vinyl banner that has very vibrant colors on one side and a picture of a mountain stream on the other. And the idea of that is to place that actually over a pole near a jump so that your horse will get desensitized to different colors and different visual aids to make them jump a little better in the show arena when you get to a horse show. It was also designed so that you could fold it up and take it with you, because when we go to horse shows, sometimes we don't have many jumps that we can practice on before we go in and compete. And this gives you that versatility of having a different design on either side to really make your horse look and get them warmed up and jumping well enough to get ready for your class to compete. So it also then can be all put on the ground and you can walk your horse over it. So the horse is going to see these vibrant colors and these different pictures, and it helps them when we enter in a trail class where we actually ride our horses over different obstacles through different things. And it's been used, actually the Miniature Horse Association used it at their World Show for a couple of years because their little miniatures that they drive in carts had to drive over this banner. And so they're just, you're just getting your horse well trained to accept anything you ask it to do.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember riding Surtees and we had banana fields all around us. And when the bananas were ripening at a certain stage, the farmers would cover them with bright blue plastic bags. So we had those trails right through the farm, and they didn't mind that you rode your horse there. They actually liked it because it kept people from taking bananas without paying. You're right through the banana fields and the trees there. And then one day they cover all the clumps of banana with bright blue plastic bags, and the horses went crazy. They bucked, they shied away from They were like, hey, wait a minute, I've done this for months, and all of a sudden, and you were like, what the heck? But it was so funny. You're like, okay, got to like show them a plastic bag a few times. You know?
Yep, it's something new. If my horse spooks from something that's new, I go home, and believe me, they live with that new item for a month. They're going to get comfortable with blue bags and blowing in the wind. And you just, again, you need to desensitize your horse as much as you can, expose them to everything so that they'll be a very well-rounded horse.
Oh, we're back to the well-rounded. And speaking of that, going through this, you have camps that you do, horse camps. You have one in spring, April 14th through 17th, and one in summer, July 13th through 16th. So people, I mean, you're in the Sequoia country, the land of the giant Sequoia trees. Awesome. It's It's beautiful, Central California, easy to get to from LA or the Bay Area. And Three Rivers is just one of my most favorite places.
So
I mean,
pretty.
it's just the coolest community. There's art, there's music going on, festivals, and beautiful rivers, and you've got the park and nature. So, talk about trail rides. That's like magic. But these horse camps, is this mostly for the local area, or do you get people coming in and age group?
Oh, no. What's wonderful is we have some RV parks here in Three Rivers. So actually, we've had people come up from Los Angeles, and they will camp. The RV park is up the road for me. It's called Sequoia RV, and you can camp up there, and then they come down and experience the horse camp for 4 days. The horse camp is usually 4 days in a row for 2.5 hours each day. And it's called an Introduction to Horses. It is geared for the beginner, and it's for ages 7 to 77. So we open it up for everybody.
Oh, so we can come.
There you go. So we've had some grandmothers take it with their grandsons. We've had a mother and father take it with their son. It's just a wonderful introduction to horses. And for people that aren't around horses a lot, it's a great place to start to know whether or not you really are going to be interested in caring for this animal and understanding this animal. It's a good place to start, plus, beginning lessons as well. So then you can decide whether or not you want to take on that responsibility of actually owning your own horse.
Yeah, because it's a huge responsibility.
And there's a financial investment, a time investment too.
Sure.
You can't just go, I got a horse and I'll look at it once a year. That's not that's not how you do.
That's not fair to the horse. Yeah, the horse loves being ridden. They want to be used. Yes, you need to go out and ride a horse. You just don't.
Yeah, it's like you got to walk your dog. You can't keep your dog in the backyard all tethered up. Tethered. It's my new word of the day.
Right.
Tethered. But these events that you have, I think, are great. And at the same time, you have this yard sale fundraiser coming up May 1 through 3rd, and also a Christmas tree auction, a car wash fundraiser in July, Christmas tree auction in November. These fundraisers that you're doing is something dear to our hearts. We've done a segment on this. We have a T-shirt in support of this that we've created, and it's all about the all-terrain wheelchair fundraising program, right?
That's right. We picked a charity here for the Wooden Horse Training Stables to support our wounded veterans that have come back from giving a lot to be on the front lines to keep us safe so that we can pursue our dreams. And so I got wrapped up into seeing this all-terrain wheelchair. It's called a track chair that will actually help a veteran who has been very active before and possibly managing 20 acres of his oranges or being an avid hunter, and he can no longer do that because he might be missing some limbs and just whatever the situation might be. There's a charity called the Independence Fund back in South Carolina, and they actually provide these track chairs and even some bicycles and other sporting equipment for disabled veterans. And my heart was in the track chair. I just thought this is something big and it needs to be supported. And so the track chairs are $16,000. Wow. And that's what my fundraisers are for. Every fundraiser we have here, like the yard sale, the car wash, and the Christmas tree auction, all of that money, 100% of that goes to the track chair. And we've actually given one away. Last year in December of 2018, we presented a veteran from Los Angeles with a track chair. And so now I'm on my second track chair. I'm on my second campaign to raise that money, and already about halfway there right now, just in 1 year. So I'm cutting, it took me 4 years to raise the other 15,000 or 16,000. And now I hope to cut that in half. So I am available. Know what it's all about. And I am available to speak to service clubs, anybody that wants to make a tax-deductible donation to a charity like this will get actually a tax-deductible receipt and donation for giving money. But the yard sale, of course, are just, knickknacks and things like that. And people who want to clean out their closets can certainly send us things and we'll pick them up. And we have a big yard sale to help, again, go towards the money towards that track chair.
I love it. And that's the other thing too, I was typing up something. It was a hiking trail or something, and talking about that, like, veterans and someone who has lost their limbs being able to go back on a trail, just to be out in nature again is so important. Right. I know in the Sequoias you have the Big Trees Trail, the Sequoia National Park, which is wheelchair accessible. If you have a stroller, you're in a wheelchair. You know, that's what's beautiful about our national parks, that there's pretty much always an accessible trail in some format. But a lot of the places, like in your backyard, or if you can't get to a national park, you know, or something like that, to be able to go just on your general trail. And I think I saw someone, that's exactly what it was, on a trail like that. And I think it's magical, because when you are not connected with nature, a part of you really starts to, you have that nature deficit. You are not connected anymore. And I just feel like, you know, we're publishers, so we're always at our computers, even though we're traveling, going to parks. As soon as we're locked in our hotel rooms doing the publishing side, the creative side is all joyous. But if we don't go outside and connect with nature, you can literally feel yourself die. You know, I'm just saying.
Right.
You just,
yes.
You know, and your spirit, it's your spirit. You need to feel that freedom. And I think it goes really well with what you do with the trail rides, and that mobility of what you're doing in life with the horses, and also just sharing that symbol of the horse. Before we close the conversation, with us doing this project, Horses Across America. So what we're doing, everyone, we're going to be sharing stories in our magazines, Parks and Travel magazine, and Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. You'll see stories about horses, or a statue, and who's in that statue, what is this horse about, you know, trails, all of that. But we're also going to be putting up a map, nationalparktraveling.com, probably be there by the time this broadcast, where you can see the different, anything to do with a horse, and the places we've traveled to across the country. And of course, Christy will be on there. She's the first one on the map, because that was our first real horse experience. But
well, thank you. Let's start on the West Coast and work our way east. How's that?
Yeah,
and
we went to
east.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know, we've been all over. And to me, though, when you think of Horse Across America, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I mean, is it the wild horses? Is it, you know, show jumping? Is it a specific horse? When you think Horses Across America, what is American horse put together? To me, I see freedom. Nancy, what do you see when you think about horses in America?
I think like freedom. I agree with you, that when they're running through water and their manes are flowing, they're happy little children, and like, man, let's run as fast as we can right through this water.
Yeah.
That's freedom.
Yeah.
Like, not a care in the world. I mean, we all know everybody else cares, even the horses. But at that moment, they're living in that moment.
That goes with one of our keys of excellence, our 8 keys of excellence. So, yeah, Christy, for you, what does it say?
Well, it's just a connection. You know, again, connection of that horse. The horse is connected to Mother Earth. That's what the Native Americans say. Yeah. And they are truly connected to the earth. And so they're enjoying their environment. They're safe in their environment. They're also alert in their environment, but they're enjoying every minute of it. They really live in the moment. And I'm sure they enjoy their surroundings. That freedom that they have is just, it's peaceful. It's very peaceful
spirit
for them.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah. And I wanted, and one of the major things what I love about this assignment, and I think it really shows in the sculptures and the public art of the horse, is how much horses have done for the humans. When you talk about, freedom, horses have provided humans with freedom and migration routes, war, all of that.
Well, it's how the West was won. It's how the West was won.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they couldn't have come out. They couldn't come out west. I mean, Lewis and Clark did it on foot, but in order for the manifest destiny, after the people that followed after them had to do it with horses. They had to pull the wagons. They had to carry the riders. They carried the Native Americans in their life.
Our mail.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
our mail.
They don't call it horsepower for nothing.
That's right.
They helped plow fields. They were used to help plow fields.
I'm calling it horsepower across America. I'm changing the title.
But I mean, they've done it. They did everything. They did everything.
Horsepower.
They really did.
Yeah,
we couldn't have settled this country without horses. No way.
Well, I was thinking about the mules too, and you mentioned mules. I know we have a friend, Karen, who does this mule ride every year. This big, like they go out there and do like kind of like what you do with Chief Joseph, but they're all on mules. And I was thinking about the 49ers, Nancy. Didn't they use mules out in Death Valley?
Pack mules.
Right.
That was just
Right.
outside. Yeah, it's outside that's your desert backyard, right, Christy? Death Valley in that area.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Everyone, again, you can follow the map story on nationalparktraveling.com or just go to loveyourparkstour.com as well. Of course, keep up with Christy. Go to wdnhorse.com, stands for wooden horse. So wdnhorse.com. And also keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. All our shows air Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. All kinds of outlets, so you can check it all out there. And we love to play music for our guests and, of course, for you, the listener. Thank you for joining us. Today's song is called Soaring, because it's true. It's like, to me, when you're on a horse, there's the giddy up style, right? But there's also that movement of like you feel like, and it's the closest I would say, other than being in an airplane, and that's different because you're more connected with nature to me on a horse, that you feel
Soaring
like
is a
you're
great
soaring.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good word. Good word,
yeah.
ladies.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you so much for
you.
having me back on.
Thank you. And
a
here it
pleasure.
is, Soaring. This is from the album Images of Winter by Everin Ozen, a NAMI award-winning Native American musician and flute player. So you can keep up with him at ozenmusic.com. Here it is, Soaring.